special.
Oh my
So here's a little story I got to tell about three bad brothers you know so well.
Oh, Lord.
Started way
No, no, no,
back
no, no.
in
There's no reason to
history
break
with
into a
that
rap.
Rock
Was it
MCA
these?
and
I
me,
believe so.
Mike D.
Who is that?
We had a little horsey named Paul Revere.
You're listening to Slightly Uncomfortable. Are you ready?
I guess it's time we start the show. Welcome to Slightly Uncomfortable. We've got a different show tonight, and when I say different, I mean different. We've had suggestions over all the podcasts that we've done. One of our criticisms has been we need a voice of a lady's voice on the show. So I listened to that complaint. I listened to that suggestion. And not only did I get one lady for the show, I got two ladies for the show.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did.
So I have two ladies down here in the bunker with me, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Ladies,
So I'm Janet, and
I'm Heather.
Janet and Heather. Tell our listeners, both of them, how you all know each other.
so we met about 15 years ago or so,
At least.
at least, in West Kentucky, where we're from. And Heather was actually my boss for a while, and she left that workplace and was elected as a county official in her county. She served for 2 terms, and then she ended up coming back to work in our chosen field, and then I ended up being kind of our team leader, and we just always got along
So y'all take
so
turns
well.
bossing each other around is what I'm hearing.
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'd
give
rather
and
her
take.
boss me around, though, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, and I like that.
So alpha, beta is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, why not?
Okay, all right.
It works.
It does.
And Heather has just recently moved to the capital city.
Mm-hmm.
What's your initial thoughts of our beautiful, fair city?
I think I fit right in.
I think you do.
That may be a little scary, given what I know about our fair city.
She has a hippie sort of flower child,
Is she crusty?
crusty.
Granola?
Mm.
Crunchy? Is it crunchy? I think it's called crunchy.
Yeah,
That's what they call. That's what they call people that are real hippie-ish.
Well-
they eat a lot of granola. They're crunchy.
Oh,
Do you eat granola?
I like granola.
Well, it keeps you regular.
Oh, that's good to know.
It does.
Thank you.
It does.
That is very important.
It is.
If you don't stay regular, the rest of your day's gone to shit.
Well, really. In
So-
all
Yeah.
fairness, yes.
So both these ladies have listened to our humble show, and one more than others. I'm not saying anything, Janet. Heather showed up late to the dance. I think she's ahead of you on how many shows she's listened to.
I'm just saying. I'm an overachiever.
Really?
She is. She really applied herself.
Well,
Thank God you knew her.
Congratulations.
That way you got an invite.
oh, well, praise the Lord.
So the premise of this show has always been.
Praise the Lord.
I sure did.
Lord, she just went to church.
Praise him anyhow. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
Yes, I
that is
do.
something seldomly heard on the show.
Well,
we talk
It's about time.
yeah.
we talk about Kenny
You
Loggins.
should have had us. You should have had us on much sooner.
we talk about Kenny Loggins a whole lot, but we don't Kenny Loggins. It's the picture of Jesus your parents had up in the
Oh,
house.
no, we don't have pictures of
No.
Jesus at our house. We don't think that's right.
No, he's in our hearts.
You don't
No.
have one of those Kenny Loggins pictures of Jesus.
No.
No, no.
Absolutely
Who does
not.
that?
It sounds like to me you're judging the Christians that do. That doesn't
No.
sound very Christian-like.
Not at all. This took a really deep turn quickly.
Well,
What the hell?
we don't have that. That's not right.
Well, I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah, you did.
Nobody really
Well-
knows what he looks like.
He looks like Saddam Hussein.
You-
Probably more than Kenny Loggins.
Given the area of the country or the world that he's from, he looks like a Muslim.
Or perhaps a Jewish person with dark
Truth.
eyes, and
True.
I think there's a slight difference.
Now we got somebody praising.
Okay.
This is a stark difference than how we normally start.
Well-
I'm going to tell you that.
Okay.
But one of the premises of our show, our underlying premises, are two things. First and foremost, it's guys sitting around talking. And we originally started this show because we don't think that people that aren't guys, meaning ladies, really fully understand what we talk about when we sit around. You know, they think we're talking about cars, sex, and sports, which we do cover those, but we also cover varied other topics.
Such as,
What if you listen to the show, if you listen to the shows, you would know. But seeing that you haven't, you can reference our library. But
the archive.
one of the things I want to know with having you ladies down here, thank you for joining us. I'm going to try to keep it a little bit cleaner than traditional,
Oh, good.
but I haven't had that much bourbon yet, so.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Yes, but you have served us drinks.
That's
so,
right.
I mean, I can't make
well,
any
I'm a
promises.
host. I am a host.
And bless your heart.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the second thing is you have to drink bourbon if you're on the show. And the ladies are drinking a bourbon and ginger ale with a splash of lime because I didn't know that they would be completely comfortable with straight bourbon. So
Which we probably will be later.
yeah, that
After we finish this
we're-
drink,
we're
it'll
gonna-
probably be ready.
we're going to make sure that we record that
Yeah,
part
it's
of
all
the show.
good.
So, given the premise of this show, what it's been in the last 16 episodes, we want to find out. I want to find out what happens to ladies when they sit down and talk to each other, because it's a mystery to us. You know, it's a mystery to guys what you ladies do when you get together. So, tell me some of the things and some of the stuff that you all do when you gather together.
So I'll start this off by just an experience we've had lately with Bumble. So Bumble.
Swipe right.
Swipe left, sunshine.
Oh,
Did not.
dear.
We probably had that for a week. Swiped left many more times than we swiped right, and it's gone. The app is deleted from our phones, never to be seen again. So
Tell me why that is.
well, I don't know if I set my parameters too closely, but there just weren't that many like silver foxes for me. I mean, I'm 50.
Well,
So-
you need to go to ourtime.com.
Well, perhaps I do.
No, that's for folks over 50.
Is it
And
really?
if
There
li-
you go.
If you like more
See?
mature applicants,
Yes.
because you're interviewing for positions, is what I'm hearing.
Apparently. Yes.
Oh, I have, yeah.
Yeah.
It
There's
seems
some
like
truth to
Heather
that.
is applying some sort of filter that is not merited.
You need to stop with that filter, young lady.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Drink up.
Okay.
But so Bumble didn't work out. But again, they have several different ones. You know, and I've been on every one of them. I got banned from Christian Mingle. We won't get into the whole story
Oh,
about how
I'd
that
love
happened.
to hear that.
I would too.
But well, it shouldn't surprise anybody. But I think you may be operating Bumble incorrectly,
In what way?
because Bumble is set up differently than any other app of its type. Whereas the lady has to initiate
Oh,
the first
yes.
conversation.
But not the first conversation. Okay, yes.
have to message
you
first.
you break the ice. You say hello first. But then you shouldn't have to continue that conversation.
Absolutely, you should.
What?
No.
Absolutely.
Why?
No.
Because you all are initiating. That's the premise.
So
right?
we should get one-word answers to our questions?
Not at all,
Okay,
but
so that's what's happening.
If you're asking questions,
Yeah.
then you're doing the right way. But I've been on Bumble many times, and I'll get the same stuff that ladies complain about on dating sites, in that they get, "Hey, what's up?" or "Hi, how are you?" Something like that, something really short. I'll get a "Hey, what's up?"
I don't complain about that.
No, I don't either.
and then I will say, "Not a lot. Thanks for messaging me. How are you this morning?" Fine.
Okay, so let's just role play one of those conversations that I had recently.
Okay.
Here's
Do
what
I get to
happened.
play along?
No,
Oh, damn it!
So
no.
Oh, so
Basically-
you're looking for ladies on Bumble is what I'm
No.
hearing.
I mean, just, it's whatever works for everybody else, but we like us a
Oh,
good.
you're not judging the Kenny
we
Loggins
like us
people.
a,
Honestly-
we like us a good,
You need to fill in that
I
blank.
don't
We just
know.
need a dude.
I really don't know if I like
What?
anybody.
oh, my Lanta. Okay.
I
So-
mean, so
All right, so role play that
okay.
Bumble
So
situation.
basically, my conversations. I had a really nice Game of Thrones conversation with one gentleman. He was very pleasant, and then, we just kind of left things open. But then I was the last one to say anything to him. So then he never said anything back, and I didn't know what to say to him. I asked him if he had a good day. I just, what do you say to somebody you've never even looked in the eye? And so I started having this conversation with this man. Okay, we had a match, and so I just said, "Hey, how are you? Hope you had a nice day." And then he comes back on, and he immediately tells me that he's a one-woman man, that he wears his heart on his sleeve. And I messaged him back, and in his profile, he mentioned that he was a Christian, and that's important to me, and that he, he loved his grandma, loved his,
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, he was in the military. All right, but then, okay, I've been in a controlling relationship before, so I pick up on control things really quickly now, I feel like. Maybe it wasn't, but it was like 2 messages in, and this guy says, "So, how would you feel about just deleting the app, putting 100% of our effort into focusing on one another, and seeing what we could have with each other?"
That would be a delete and block.
And the message came, it was like 11:30 at night. I mean, I was asleep. And
And
so,
he was drinking.
yeah, probably. And so I didn't answer. And I got up the next morning and I got ready for work, and I didn't answer. And by lunch, I had a message that basically said, "Well, clearly you are not interested in what I have to say, and you are no longer interested in me. Have a nice life." And I was like, "Oh, hell no." And so I said, "I'm sorry, but I'm definitely not what you're looking for. By the way, you never took any time to get to know me as a person. You just asked me to delete an app and devote all my time to you. Don't think so."
Well, I mean, just, count yourself lucky. I mean, you didn't meet that guy. What had happened if you met him face to face? I mean, that's the great
Yeah.
thing about these apps.
True.
You can rule assholes out much quicker than
Yeah.
you could if you met them in any other type of form.
True.
Right? Because if he come up to you at a bar, it may have taken you a lot longer
Get
to rule
smitten.
that out. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's much tougher to say those things to somebody face to face than it is anonymously via a text message or a message on an app.
True.
I don't know.
I think the apps, I've dated on apps I started dating on dating apps when it was Yahoo Personals
Oh,
I remember
glad
those
to-
back
Nice.
in the day, right? But I have found it to be very easy to ask questions that are otherwise awkward face to face that are important to you, regardless what those things may be. And normally folks answer relatively honestly because they got no skin in this game yet.
Yeah.
So they, but now, and you can sniff out the ones that are being disingenuous, just like what you did.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's going to delete a damn app, as soon as you message somebody.
Well, and I just told him I just moved to town. I don't even really
Oh,
know what
don't-
I'm
all right,
looking for.
Let me go on and tell you this right now.
You
Don't
know?
ever tell a dude that. Because that means you have no support here at all. And that's going to attract
Yeah,
those
he was
morons that want to be your
immediately-
world.
Yeah, he immediately wanted to be my world.
Yeah, he did.
I would advise
Hey.
ladies to be very cautious with what you all divulge about where you live, about your
Dad.
support system, that kind of stuff. I would be really, really careful with that. Because there's a bunch of guys out there that don't. What did you say?
I said, "Thanks, Dad."
Well,
Did you hear that?
I'm looking out for y'all.
Thank you, because we
And I've
obviously need that.
Well, I've dated on these apps a little bit, probably more than you have. Now, I'm not going to say the word I'm thinking, but if you push the envelope, it's going to be said. Because I call the guys that, I might as well call y'all that.
Now, simmer down there,
All
sunshine.
right, well, I'm sorry. Got me a little hot under the collar. So, but now let me ask you this, just using Bumble as an example.
Yep.
Sorry.
You've had bad dates in the past, right?
Oh, yeah.
Swing and misses, right?
Yep.
Did you stop dating?
No.
Did you
Well,
blame it on dating totally?
I've had
or-
marriages like that.
Right.
I didn't
yeah.
really date much. I went straight into the long term, buddy.
It's okay to date without marrying.
It sure is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the last really important relationship that I was in was entered into because it was sort of a weird mourning period for the loss of my dad, who died of lung cancer. So I quickly got into a relationship, and it sort of blindsided me. But
You needed attention. You needed to
I
feel
need, I need to
valued.
be loved on a little bit,
And also someone to lean on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would say so. So I think I think whenever we mourn, whether it be male or female, I think we make sometimes odd decisions that maybe we wouldn't have made before. But nevertheless, I ended up getting engaged to this dude, and he turned out to be an incredible narcissist. And
Which at first you were drawn to because he
No,
was self-assured
I
and confident and strong where you may have been weak.
Let me clarify a little bit. The first date that I went on, he invited me over to his house, and he had a deer head mounted on the wall, which I
Beautiful.
have no
Beautiful.
objection to. But he then
Have you noticed my carcass that I have up here?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's how I like to issue
I'm down with that.
Start
I mean,
a
if that's what a
relationship.
dude wants
how
to
do you
do.
feel about dead things?
Yeah, I mean, but
Isn't
but
it pretty?
But the really interesting thing about that deer head that was mounted to the wall is that it had a mink stole around its neck. So
I have something dead on something dead.
yes.
Layers
So-
of
Layers
What?
of dead.
So I thought, okay, this dude is not for me. So I get in the car.
That
you
was
know,
the sign.
It was. And then my sister, on the way home, I call my sister.
I've
Nope,
had dead
nope,
animals
nope,
on my
nope,
wall.
nope, not happening. And he was slightly, we'll just say it's sissified. So I want
And
a
you
dude.
enga-
I just want a
You
dude.
got engaged to him?
Okay, so my sister, hold up, sunshine. So my
I'm
sister
just asking
says,
questions.
you do not give anybody a chance. He is probably a good dude, just give him a chance. And I said, I don't know. So I talked myself into it.
That's the first mistake.
It wasn't it? It was, and my sister's a dumbass. So anyway, I ended up, the whole thing lasted maybe 5 months, but it was probably one of the most traumatizing experiences.
Well, you were
that I
still
had.
raw from the
Absolutely.
death of your dad.
And then he absolutely tore me down to where I was curled up in a ball for a couple months. And so that's not my normal demeanor. What you see is what you get, and I'm fairly thick-skinned, I would say. But that sort of clicked something off in me. And for a long time, I just couldn't have cared less. Could not have cared
Well, you
less.
put up walls to protect yourself.
It didn't, it's, I agree with you, but it didn't feel like a wall. It was just disinterest.
And that's the
Just
wall.
Disinterest.
If I don't
So-
engage, I don't have to have
Right,
feelings.
right.
I don't have to make a decision.
Sort of.
And so I didn't even recognize it as narcissism until I talked to my pastor then and his wife, and she said, he is a narcissist. Get away from him, and I gave the ring back to him, the whole thing, and afterward I thought, that ring was always just a little too tight in so many ways.
Yeah.
And so the best thing for me, and I think for any woman in that situation, is to just take the bull by the horns and get out of it, go through the messy period, put the walls up if you got to get yourself over it, and then you gotta just
Yeah.
make up your mind what you want in your life, And I mean, I've never been married. I mean, I don't have kids. I've never been married, but I am pretty happy, honestly. I can't say that I have walls up particularly, but I'm kind of happy. I guess I'm kind of set in my ways.
You know,
Can I
and
say that.
and I think it's easier for ladies to be content flying solo for a while.
And we talked about that the
Amen.
other
Yeah,
day.
we did.
Amen.
I-
Amen, brother.
I agree with that.
I think it's easier because you all do great with that until you don't.
Do you think
And
it's
guys
'cause-
just honestly never do great with it at all.
Do you think it's because women are more? Do you think that it's true that women are more okay with their emotions?
No.
Okay, because that's stereotypical. I
No,
think,
I
wonder-
believe that each gender both have fucked up emotions.
Okay, all right.
mean-
so since you put it that way,
Well, no, I think they do. I mean, depending on. This is my show. This is slightly uncomfortable.
I gotta have another.
This
It
ain't,
is.
This ain't no
It is.
NPR voice, okay?
Okay.
Oh,
So
Atlanta.
So here's you want okay. Here's my raw, just a little bit of my raw story. okay?
Go, girl.
All right. So I'll start at the end because you're probably going to go, what now?
What the hell?
Yeah. I don't necessarily consider myself having walls up. I deleted that app because I started very quickly realizing that I just needed to be with me for a while.
Well, you also
Like-
have had a lot of life changes here recently.
I have.
And you didn't really need to usher something else to add to that.
Exactly. And I have spent the better part of 20, well, really, if you want to think about it in a deep, deep way, of most of my life trying to please and take care of everybody, other people. And so, you know, that evolved from me being a little girl, basically wanting to please my parents and wanting to do the right thing.
And you're the oldest.
And I'm the oldest sister, so I've got a great relationship with my baby sister, but, you know, I always wanted to
Unlike
take
Janet.
care of everybody
Not
else.
the
Her
baby.
sis- She said her
I am
sister's
the
an
baby.
ass.
No, you said your sister was an ass. So
Well,
I'm just saying.
Sorry.
She doesn't. Sorry. I hope you
Don't
never
say her
hear
name.
this.
Sorry.
Yeah, it seems like that, the relationships are different with
No,
Heather.
I'm actually
Heather
best
and her-
friends with my sister.
Oh, except she's an ass.
In that particular time, yes, she was.
Situational ass is what I'm hearing. Okay. All right.
So-
So Heather, please continue.
So okay, so basically, you know, I've got sons that are grown. I have been through 3 marriages, one that lasted 7 years, one that lasted 3 years, and my 3rd marriage that lasted almost 6 years. And that sounds crazy because I absolutely do not believe that, you know, I don't believe that divorce is, you know, just something that you should enter into lightly ever. But my last marriage taught me, you know, that not to be controlled anymore. And that was basically the situation. I mean, I don't know, you know, how raw you want me to get, but I mean, he was living a life that was completely opposite of anything I could ever want in mine, and lying to me about it. And basically, when I would approach that with him, he would tell me just straight out, "You are crazy. You are imagining this. You know, this is all because of how you treat me. This is all because of you." And so
Which sounds narcissistic.
the day that, the day I made my mind up that I would rather be doing this alone and on my own was the day he told me he wanted me to die and burn in hell.
Well,
And,
that seems aggressive.
you know, and I was just like, what? You never say that to somebody. You should never say that to anybody.
No,
I
you
mean,
should never say that. You should never make fun of their pictures of Jesus. You know, there's a lot
I
of
didn't
things.
make fun, James.
We're going to
just-
have to talk about this more after the show,
No,
sir.
no, we talk about stuff on this show.
Okay, all right. Well, you asked for it, Big
You
Daddy.
know, no, let me ask you two this, given your all's past, and I'll tell anybody at our age, and we're all roughly the same age. Janet and I are about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Heather is the youngster of the room.
I am. I'm the baby.
And but we round up in the bunker, all right? We round
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
if
do.
you're going to hang out with old people, you're just going to be considered old,
Yeah.
okay?
An
But
old soul.
given
You are an old soul.
given our age, we've all been through some trauma.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
all had situations that we thought were going to be a forever, and they ended up being for now.
Yeah.
And I tell any lady that I go out on a date with, we already have something in common because every relationship we've ever had has failed. And that may sound depressing, but it's true.
It is true.
And until you own that, you can't get past that, right? And it's difficult, I believe, and I'd love to hear y'all's opinion. It's difficult at our age to find a really strong connection because when we were 20, we had the world in front of us.
Yeah.
We were going to buy our first house. We were going to find our first job. We were thinking about having kids.
Starting a family.
You know, you were all these life events were ahead of you. Now at 50-ish, you're welcome, Heather. At 50-ish, though all those events are now behind us, right? So it's tough when you've got more behind than you probably will have in front of you.
I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to.
I don't know that I feel that
All right,
way,
we're
though.
50. Not a lot. I mean, my dad may be 100 by the time he passes. God love us. He'll probably outlive all of us.
Yeah.
But statistically speaking, we've got more time behind us than
That's
we're going
true.
to have
Oh,
in
yeah.
front of us.
You're right.
So,
Time-wise, yeah, but
not to say we can't make the most out of
And
10 years
yeah.
or 15, but the reality of it is, a lot of our firsts are over. So
True.
the stuff that would bring two people together, hopefully, have kind of passed us by.
however, at our age, those things are different. The things that would draw us together are different. I am 50 and I don't have the ability to have children. So that's not an issue for me. So the seasons change and the things that occur within those seasons are different. So I have always been somewhat of an adventurer and a risk taker, right?
Love
Yes.
maker.
I would say,
Well, heck yeah.
Heartbreaker, don't you
That's
mess around with me.
Absolute. How did you know?
I'm dead on it.
Yes, yes.
I'm a
So-
talent for the reason. For a reason.
Yes. So, but you know, I just think that even though those things are behind us, the things that happen in this season are in front of us.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I don't mean to be pessimistic. That's not.
No,
the-
no, not at all. But I just think it's the things that draw us together as folks in this season. I think are just as lovely or as the things.
See, we don't get this on the show a whole lot. The words lovely.
I
The
know.
Getting
optimism.
it now. Put your seatbelt
I
on,
mean,
sir.
I'm,
It just naturally
I know.
smells
feel-
like flowers down
It
here.
it
does,
does.
doesn't it?
Well, I farted. I fart.
Is
poke
that
weed.
it?
I do.
Oh
I do.
my God! Thank you. I wish you'd do that at work.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Just walk by my office. Let it go. Thank you.
Just
Thank you. Oh my gosh, what a blessing
Well,
you are.
I'll try it tomorrow. I just hope the flavor's right.
Okay, yeah. Well, just put a little thought into it or
I'm
whatever
gonna
it is
go
you
and
have
prop
to do.
dust you about 9:30.
I'll make
Thank
some.
you.
That that just
What
takes
did
me
you
back
raise
to
two?
I raised two boys, and listening to the podcast. I raised two boys.
hope they don't
I
turn out like
consider
us.
myself having three boys. It's funny, when I listen to you guys, it makes me think about things that I experienced with my boys growing up that had me curled up in a fetal position in my closet. Like when you guys talked about your first experience with pornography.
You told me. All right. Let me just go on and preface this.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Heather came in my office after she listened to our pornography episode, and she told me what she did to them boys after she found out that they were watching the porn. And Lord Jesus, I mean, it was. I mean, she brings up slides of gonorrhea and syphilis.
Listen, well, let me set it.
Probably there was
because-
a hole in somebody's wiener on the side,
Yeah.
just it ate
Well,
away.
Tell them the
listen.
truth.
I found their phones and found that they had been looking at naked stuff, and I
Naked stuff.
was
Help us,
not.
Kenny Loggins.
I was not. I was not gonna have that. It
And
broke
the
my
whole
heart.
time she's saying these words, she is covering herself,
As a
She brought a blanket, y'all.
cloaking herself in a blanket. It's not like there's nudity or anything. I mean, she's.
She needed a little security to
She has her
expose
binky.
herself to the world.
I do. As a mother, though, okay, of these two little, I said mother of dragons earlier today. As a mother of these two boys, you find this stuff on their phone, and the thought of as a mother is their innocence is lost now.
And how old were they?
Probably 12-ish, I'd say.
So
9, 10, 11, 12.
Well, now 9 is.
9 is a little bit young, but my
Yeah.
oldest, let's see, so probably 10 and 12, or maybe, 11, 13, something like that.
Anyway.
They were around that area.
It's blurry, it seems.
So, it is. So,
She's already mentioned 12
I
ages,
found
and she
They're
has,
like 5.
she has
yeah,
two children.
gap
She has
of
two
5
children,
years.
12 ages.
3 years apart. Do the math.
5, 10,
So,
15, 20, 25,
I
30.
find that I see all this naked stuff on their phones, and I went, to my closet, and I curled up, and I sobbed for
My crying
it seemed
closet.
like hours.
Not her prayer closet.
I just
Not her
rocked.
prayer closet.
And I rocked like this, and I cried. And so then I decided that I was going to show them what a life God, this sounds so stupid. I made them get on the couch and I showed them pictures of what gonorrhea looks like, chlamydia,
Yeah.
all of it.
All right, now, let me ask you this. Was the gonorrhea and the chlamydia on the penis? I mean, were you showing them wieners? Oh.
And both. I was showing them both.
And
I was
that-
like, now, this is what happens if you mess with people that, you know,
You shouldn't mess with?
you shouldn't mess with. And I also said, I don't know, I gave them a few other lessons about, you know.
Abstinence.
All right, now, after listening to,
It was-
all right, abstinence
It was
is bullshit.
traumatizing for a mother.
Yeah,
Abstinence
it's not
is
happening.
bullshit. I mean, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, no, I didn't
I'm a
expect
Jesus
that.
loving person,
Me
but
too.
abstinence is just not.
I mean,
It's-
well, all right,
it's
if you
not
believe in abstinence, you would be a virgin.
It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the reality of it is, and that is a stupid idea. And
I
that at
believe
50,
that-
you're
I
going to
think
be a
it's.
virgin.
I think I feel as if I sort of understand the intent that of God asking folks to wait. I understand His
Now we're
intent.
going to church.
We are going to church. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Put your seatbelt on,
All right, you
sir.
may want to watch for lightning because it's been a minute.
Okay. Well, all you have to do is listen, drink it in. So,
That's what I've had a number
So-
of ladies telling me in my life. It ain't
So-
worked yet.
well, so I feel not to. I think Heather and I sort of feel this way
Oh, now I'm
about
the
it.
Antichrist all of a sudden. The guy- the
Well,
bearded
we've
guy
listened.
sitting
I
on this
did
side.
listen to your podcast about religion,
Well,
sir.
you're welcome.
Okay. Well, thanks. So
And that's the
anyhow,
last
but
one she listened to.
no,
evidently.
I know it kind of shook me up a little. But anyway, I was shook,
It's-
as the kids say.
Were
or I
you
was-
uncomfortable? Slightly? That's
I-
what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, anyhow, so so I feel that sex was meant to sort of seal a connection of two people's souls, and it sounds very romantical.
That's what happens. I mean,
And there's
that's why
some
so many
science
letdowns.
behind this too. If you will quit scowling at me, so there's a little science behind this. So when
I'm allowed to scowl.
babies become close to their mamas in terms of breastfeeding and that kind of thing, there's a hormone released called oxytocin, and it helps to bond the mother and the baby together.
I've been bonded with a few mothers.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, nevertheless, so
If you drink from the
So-
spigot, it's always better.
I guess so. So,
I'm just trying to make Heather blush more.
thank you for that. Oh my land.
I'm trying not
Okay.
to snort. I'm just
Oh
trying
my
not
God,
to snort.
just don't snort again. So, but I think
My goal
that,
is now to make her snort.
will you please let me
No,
finish?
that's not how we do this.
This is
not
all
how
about,
we-
he has
Heather,
been, listen, he has
is-
been mansplaining
Is this
and
how we
everything
do
else.
this? This is not how we do this.
It is my
They-
turn,
We do
sir.
not allow monologues.
Okay. Well, nevertheless, so when a man and a woman are
Are
together
together.
and they're the only ones
And they
that
love
are
each other.
together,
She flipped me off.
I'm gonna
just then.
flip him off. So
As she's talking about Jesus.
I'm gonna just keep talking to you. I'm not gonna look at Popeye over here. So, nevertheless, but when those two folks have sex, then there's the oxytocin again, and that bond is created. And I think
true.
that when you have several partners, and
That's a good weekend.
It becomes confusing.
but it becomes difficult. That bonding becomes difficult because there's lots of things. There's baggage there.
And you know how the women will start. It's like all of a sudden after that happens. I mean, the women all of a sudden kind of seem crazy.
No, it
Really?
doesn't take that.
I mean, but it's because like we start immediately, something clicks. We start immediately trying to be what we think you want us to be. Not that like the male has ever even said, I want you to be my,
So you try to fall into those stereotypical
but
roles.
you just try to start.
It's not even conscious. I mean,
But I think at some time, now, like Heather, I've had a couple of marriages behind me and many more relationships outside of that. But I think at some point, most people, and I'm not saying all, and if you haven't gotten to this point, awesome. But most people evolve to, there is a difference between making love and having sex.
Yes.
And having sex is not, the intention is not to create those bonds. Making
agree.
love is. Sometimes it happens for one and not the other.
Right.
But I-
And sometimes it happens for both, and then it's magical.
Yes.
It is, but I have to say that in my experience, the bonding is more likely to happen on the lady's side.
Oh, no, I'm an emotional fool. like that. No,
I
don't
just
come
think
across
in
that way,
general,
But
I do think you're a big softy, Archie.
Oh, yeah.
He is a big softy.
Yeah.
But I do think that even if a woman says, I just need some sex, and she just wants to go out and
They
have
do
a one night
have a harder
stand,
time. I
they
would agree.
do have a harder time, I think, because
In general.
because that sex really, it's not the sex that they really want.
Yeah, it's not really
I
that
don't
great.
think.
I think there's
I
more to
think
it. I think
it's-
they need to feel desired. I think they want attention.
Are you telling me what I want to feel?
No, I'm giving you my perspective.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know,
I wanna,
but-
yeah, I want to know what your
But
perspective
because, I mean, honestly, in the time that I've been on the dating sites and stuff like that, a lot of times I've heard that ladies swipe right on all of them, and they see how many men are attracted to them. And they
I
don't
never
have,
even thought about
they
that.
don't have to engage, but they see what type of men they're attracting. And,
I may or may not have done that.
you know, and that at that point, it's a case study.
You did?
I did.
No,
I totally
no,
did.
it really is. It's a case, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because I honestly think that Bumble and Tinder are the two most honest dating sites or apps that there are. Because there is no superficial, honestly, when I go on like Plenty of Fish or Match.com or OkCupid or one of those, you send, as a guy, you send 50 emails as an example, and you may get one response.
Really?
So it's a waste of time to look at a profile and say, you know what, I like that same movie. Bottom line, we don't give a shit what kind of movie you like. We don't care. We're not going to say, oh, I liked Beaches too, or I'm a big fan
That
of
is-
Tombstone. Nobody cares
I
about.
love Tombstone.
You know, so that means I want to mate with you. I mean, no, that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, you see a picture and you're drawn to that picture, or you're not. All right, it's very superficial. Just own it, and that's what Tinder and Bumble both do.
Okay, I
And it's
agree
9
with
times
that.
out of 10, it's a passive activity. While you have a moment throughout your day,
Mm-hmm.
you bring up that app and you're like, oh, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, and you're done with it for a while, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that way you see who's, and then you can start a conversation. And like what Heather said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
if the conversation goes south, no time wasted.
See, I
Swipe
went about
left.
it totally different.
No,
Totally different, though.
but you have no sweat off your brow. You spent a day
You didn't invest
To-
your
to-
heart in with any
Right,
of those
to
people.
vet that
Exactly.
And I
guy.
didn't either.
To vet that guy. Now, the way I handle dating sites is real easy. If I connect with somebody on a Tinder or a Bumble, and there's a connection, you know, we actually talk. I'm like, why don't we just get together and have a drink? I want a face-to-face.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want to go through an interview. I don't
Yeah.
need to see your damn checklist.
That's where it gets really awkward.
Yeah.
Is it's like, so now what do you talk about? Because but
When you meet
but
somebody, you have
honestly-
nothing to talk about.
Right, but honestly, like I would just rather the man have said, you know. But see, then again, I don't know if I even want to have a conversation with anybody. I was gonna say maybe I would like for him to just say, "Let's have a conversation," but
Well,
really
But
don't.
it's
I
wasted
feel,
time.
well, hang on just a minute. It may not be for a woman because
Well,
what,
Heather wasted
hang
her
on,
time.
but hang on. We have to protect ourselves bodily.
Sure.
So what if he says, well, let's just go have us a drink, girlfriend, and we go have a drink, and it's, you're in the back of a van somewhere.
Or you're wondering if he's following you home, like waiting until you leave so that he can
I mean,
figure
we
out where you live.
watch, we watch,
You watch way too damn
NCIS.
many crime dramas.
It's just like
which-
somebody
I mean,
pulling me out that window.
It does
see?
happen though,
Well,
right? It does happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, a small percentage of the time, but absolutely does.
So we feel, I think,
But
I
you
feel
mean
like
in
I
a-
have to protect, I have to be smart
All right, but no,
about,
but you and I and all of us know that the guys that are going to do that are better at it than you are. They know the red flags you're looking for, and they're not going to fall into those. I mean, this isn't their first time at the damn rodeo.
That's true.
All right, you look at there's a documentary just released on Ted Bundy. I'm sorry, none of those ladies, with all the stuff that they knew, vetted Ted Bundy. He was attractive, he was smooth, he was articulate, he was intelligent,
Exactly. That's why I did the sex offender search
as you should,
in our neighborhood.
as you should, yeah. And
Lots
downtown
of
where you all are?
3 miles, a 3-mile radius, there were 44.
In a 3-mile radius.
It sounds like a block party to me.
Okay, no,
I mean, I don't even feel like I can go outside in my nightgown.
Why would you?
to
like-
feed the cats?
like-
I mean, come on.
Like, okay, yesterday I wanted to spray paint something really quick.
So I needed to dress up in my nightgown.
I was
No,
already
you don't
in-
wanna get, no, you already had.
I was already in my house.
Listen, when we
Where's
get
my
home
spray
from
painted
work,
clothes?
listen, all we wanna do is put our PJs on whenever we get home from work. We just
So-
wanna be comfy.
That's what I
And we
did.
may do a little crafting.
And some spray painting.
And
I
some
was
spray
just
outside.
painting. And whatever you have on at the time may or may not be appropriate for spray
Out
painting.
back. I was spray painting out back.
Yes,
But,
without an audience.
well, who knows? I feel
Well,
like you
that's
always
right.
have an audience.
Could have had a telescope.
There's a girl that walks up and down my street with her camera on all the time, videoing.
Lord have mercy.
All right, we understand we live in a
Anyhow.
world of friends, all right? But going back to the dating apps,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
don't judge them too harshly because it didn't work out the first. There has been many a time on Tinder and Bumble both, just delete your damn app and reinstall it. And then you have a fresh start on all those matches you had before.
You've had some experience with this,
That's
haven't
why
you?
I'm trying, all right, you're
He's trying to
welcome,
school us.
daughter, because evidently I'm daddy now. Which, you know, I'm not gonna go into all that.
Yeah,
Um,
please.
There's over there. Oh,
Let's don't. I know. Hey, I need another Porsche.
a Porsche, you gotta
Porsche?
finish that one first.
Oh, but it's watered down.
No, we don't pour bourbon into something watered down. But
I
now,
want one of those
again,
fancy square nuts.
on those dating sites, if you don't have to leave your house, if you can date in a nightgown, to your all's
I
point,
agree. I agree with that.
just don't get all emotionally invested and say, all right, this is so horrible, I'm gonna delete the app. No, you got no skin in the game. I mean, Heather was lucky enough to bypass an asshole.
I did. I
You
really
know,
bypassed
so
that
that
sucker.
to me-
Oh,
Swerve.
girl, come here.
That to me
Yeah.
makes that app valuable, all of a sudden.
Hard pass.
You know,
That's right.
because had you been down to a bar, it may have taken you months to figure out that he was an asshole.
Ugh. I won't never meet anybody else in a bar.
Well, I will tell you what, in my experience, a bar, a grocery store, a church, no matter where it is you're meeting somebody, you've got just as highly likelihood of having them being a jerk or an asshole
I
as
agree.
any other place you meet them.
I agree.
That's a good point.
Because nobody truly knows somebody until they actually get close enough to actually let the guard down.
Agreed.
And you see who they are.
Because
Agreed.
everybody can behave for 6 months or a year.
Absolutely. I can make you think I'm from
Yeah.
England on a first date.
Do it.
I can't. I ain't practiced up. I'm more from Ireland than England.
I cannot wait to
Irish
hear
brother.
that. I
Yeah.
cannot wait to hear that.
Well, I mean, I think you should do it.
I
Well, I'm
mean-
not gonna do it. I have
Why?
performance anxiety.
Oh my.
Oh.
All these eyes.
So
looking
how
at
do
me.
we know? How do we know that you can really do it?
You don't,
Okay.
but now you're
so,
and that makes it special.
Oh my.
So, here's a little story I got to tell about 3 bad brothers you know so well.
Oh, Lord.
Started way
No, no, no,
back
no, no,
in
there's no reason to
history
break
with
into a
that
rap.
Rock
Was it
MCA
these-
and
I
me,
believe so.
Mike D.
Who is that?
We had a little horsey named Paul Revere.
And then she's gonna snort. She's gonna rap for 2 seconds and snort.
She
That's
is.
the white girl rap. Is I think
That's
is
right.
what it is.
Sometimes songs,
Double
sometimes when
Dutch bus.
people, yeah, I mean, people say things and it makes me
That's a
like,
copyright
if
infringement.
you are, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Beastie Boys. If you guys are ever talking to me and I just glaze over, it's probably
That's
because I'm
lost.
thinking about a song. A song is going through my mind.
That's not good for a podcast.
What? To shake my glass so that you'll put some more stuff,
Oh,
some more of
Lord.
that good stuff in there.
There you go.
Thank you. Love it.
All right, so
You're a good host.
you two,
Yep.
Not just,
you all talk about dating evidently when the girls get together.
We do, and apparently that's taken up a lot of our.
Well,
But
now,
actually, it does. Like when we really talk, what do we?
but now
like-
this is a little bit different because y'all have known each other 15 years.
Oh yeah.
Now, when the boys and I get together on this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
I've known Alex for about 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've known Lloyd for 25, but I've known Root for about 2.5 to 3. So there's not as much of a foundation with Root, although in the time that I've met him, we've gotten, I would say really close. I mean, we hit it off right away. And,
Yeah, you wouldn't know that.
We
yeah,
all
so.
have a really good rapport with
Yeah, I
him.
mean, you know, he's good people, and honestly, let me ask you this,
Okay.
two ladies, and I've got you all so I can ask you all these questions I've always wondered.
Yep.
Do you find it easy to befriend other ladies? I mean,
Yes.
and actually,
Yes.
you know, have your walls down and be vulnerable and all that.
Yes.
Yes.
But
I
I
do.
also know what kind of personality I have. Like, I know myself, and I kind of know who I'm going to get on with and who is kind of not my cup of tea. So I tend to gravitate toward folks that
Your kindred
a
spirits.
kindred spirit, yeah. So it's easy. That's easier to spot, I think, whenever you just know yourself really well. I don't tend to do as well with folks that are high maintenance.
Like women that just initially like make eye contact with you and you know they're genuine.
So
It's
they're
very
not looking at your
easy.
boobs?
Well,
No,
that
they-
happens anyway.
they
I
gotta
mean,
I mean, you can't control that.
I just get that everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've never looked at y'all's boobs.
no, not
Thank you for
you.
that.
Thank you.
No, I
Thank
mean,
you.
I mean, you know, my dad taught me early on how to be a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's not many of
It's
you
like,
out there. I
keep
have
it up
to say.
here, buddy.
and I'm a perverted asshole. I know that. But I am a gentleman to start with.
You say that about yourself, but
I
we
absolutely
don't.
am.
I have
But-
You've
never
heard the
felt.
pod-
I have never felt, or. I mean, you. Yes, we have heard the podcast, but I think you are. I don't
A
know.
gentleman.
I do think you're a gentleman.
I
but-
never want to imply that I'm not.
No, I get it. I get it. But
But,
I
I mean,
think you're a
any-
dude too. I mean,
any
you just
guy-
have dude stuff. You
Just
do.
so you,
Yeah.
if a guy makes you think they're not thinking, then they've won. Because every guy, I'm going to give you a little insight into the dudes too. Every guy thinks, I don't care if it's the preacher, because I used to be a preacher. I don't
Every-
care if it's the elder, I used to be an elder. I don't care if it's a teacher, I used to be the teacher. Every guy thinks. Now,
Okay.
the
So-
difference between gentlemen, perverts, and assholes is whether you act on it.
Exactly.
Whether you speak to it or whether you act on it.
Whether you
and
feed
that's-
it, you feed into it.
Right. So, but I think also ladies feel the same way. I think ladies think the same things. Maybe not, I don't want to say the same, but they also have nefarious thoughts that run through their mind. I think guys get.
How about you,
guys
Jan?
get-
Do you have nefarious thoughts?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, but I think guys get the hook on that, right? But I think ladies, because honestly, if that wasn't the case, there would never be a guy hooking up with a lady.
Well, and I mean,
We're not
I think,
coercing.
No.
I think Heather and I have both been, maybe not in the same group of people at the same time, but we have been with a set of girlfriends out drinking or just just at Bunko. I mean, crazy as
I've
that
heard
may
some crazy shit.
I've never
about
played
Bunko.
Bunko.
Yeah, it's
Never-
crazy
I've
down
never
there in
been.
Bunko,
Never
you know what I
been.
mean? But
Like a
nevertheless,
pickup spot is what I've heard.
what?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Well,
For
then,
women?
Okay.
Well, women on women, men on women.
What?
There's been a calf.
You
I've
need to
heard.
calm down. Okay, so
A giraffe.
I
There's
know,
been
what?
a goat.
what the heck?
I just hear things.
Okay, so what? Okay. So-
Topics tells me all sorts of stuff.
Oh, and of course, if it's on topics, it's true.
Absolutely.
You know,
I've
they
been
get
on
away with
topics a couple times.
I know.
Thank goodness.
I dated myself a little bit
Okay.
because they got away. They did away with topics a while back. So
Oh.
I dated myself a little bit.
Okay. So, but I think I think women. We've been in conversations with groups of other women friends who have really been rather unladylike in their talk about men.
Isn't that okay?
I mean,
Do you find as though they
I
were
think-
being disrespectful, or are they just being?
I felt as if they were objectifying dudes,
Oh, we don't like that at all. Yes, we do.
and whether you like it or not, and I was like, and I kept thinking, they would talk about their husband, and they would talk about maybe their husband's physique, and
Dad body.
Like their lack of sex life or their, or what they do.
Or the other end would
Yeah.
be, oh, we have sex 3 times a day. And I'm like, do you think that your husband wants you to tell every Tom, Dick, and Harry about what y'all do that he thinks that's anybody's business. I mean, I just keep thinking about
Yeah. Well, and with
how would they take
married,
that if they
yeah,
knew that?
and with married women, it often, what I notice is it often turns into a complete bitch session. And
Yeah,
that
Where
makes
they're
me,
knocking on their
yeah, and that
relationship.
makes me uncomfortable because, I,
Slightly uncomfortable.
Slightly uncomfortable.
slightly
See how I did
Yep, look at it.
uncomfortable.
Way to go.
Good.
High five.
But I mean, you know, that's not good. I mean, of course, I've been there and I've done that, you
You're
know,
supposed to be in each
but
other's corner, I thought.
yeah.
So, and you're supposed to be friends, I thought. So if you're over there, not, having your man's back, I think that's kind of tacky.
But
And
I-
you don't
but-
really want to tell all your friends like he rocks my world because then I mean, you don't want your friends like looking at your husband going,
9 times out of 10, what I have found, and this is just with guys, is if a guy's saying that, he's probably posturing to the point to where it's not being genuine.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to build something up that's not there.
97% of the time.
97, Heather said, 97. That's,
Would
that's
you
math.
agree with that?
That's math. Oh, I'd say it's at least over 90%.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that was the case, just shut the hell up. You know, we don't need to hear.
Yeah, it's like the look on your face should say it all, buddy.
It's the same thing as what happens when guys brag about what they bring to the table.
Yeah,
If they got to talk about it, it ain't all that. You know,
exactly.
it just
I
is.
agree.
You know,
I agree.
and now guys will get together and talk about relationships too. Now, I think it's the difference in what that dynamic is. Now, my buddy Mike and I have known each other 35 years. We get together. That's our safe spot. That's our home base. Because we've been the longest relationship we've ever had. If we were just gay, we'd have been, probably a ton bit happier, but I just don't like the wiener.
Okay.
I just can't bring myself to it.
It's okay.
I just
You don't
don't,
have to
I
like the
don't,
wiener.
I don't even know how you all get along with it. I don't
Obviously, I don't. Very much.
I don't even like mine
Speak for
sometimes.
yourself, sister.
I don't even like
I mean-
mine. But I don't know. When I talk to Mike, I know that I'm not being judged and I'm being completely raw and honest with him. But I think you can determine whether the person that you're hearing speak is genuine on whether they know you that well to be telling you that or not. If they know you that well, if Heather is talking to Janet, Heather's being genuine because y'all known each other 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
But if you bring in Margot, that is just going out to drinks with you from the office, we don't have a Margot that works our office, and they're doing that, they're being disingenuous with you.
They're not going to be asked back to drinks, probably.
Right, because they don't know how to handle themselves. They're either going to posture themselves to the point to where they're just getting rode hard and put up with every night, and they just love it, and their man's just the best ever, and 9 times out of 10, they got 2 on the side on a Tuesday.
Back off, Margot.
Yeah.
Calm your ass down,
Yeah.
girl.
Calm down, Margot.
Peace
You're
out,
not coming
bitch.
to drinks again. So.
So, I mean, I think you can tell by when people come into a group, and one of the things that I've had a chance to do is get into a different social circle with a part-time job that I work.
Yeah.
And I have seen how a lot of guys that are younger than me come into that circle, and I've been very impressed.
Good.
Because I've heard how they've spoken about their relationships and their situations and stuff, and it's always been in a positive manner.
Oh,
So I've been
good.
very, very
That's good.
impressed. And one of the things, I'm going to give a tip of the cap to one of the guys on the show. Root has married his high school sweetheart.
I love that.
I know.
And I love Root.
And when we did the podcast on sex and we did the podcast on porn, it made him very uncomfortable.
Yes, it did.
Because he did not want to speak to any manner that would be disrespectful to his
I
relationship.
think that is
I just
wonderful.
love that.
And that is
Okay.
genuine. I have now known Root a couple of years, almost 3, and I have never seen him step out of that.
Does he have any brothers?
I don't know that
does
you
he?
want to marry into the Root family.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Why?
Yeah, he's got some issues. It has nothing to do with relationships.
Sorry, Root.
Sorry, Root.
Yeah.
Tell your brothers I'm sorry too.
Yeah, sorry,
and Janet,
Ask
if you
them if they
listen to
like
the
fit
show,
girls.
You can see the roots,
I
the
have
root
listened
issues coming
to
out.
5 of your podcasts.
Of 16, that's not even a third.
Well,
Well, she's probably about tied with me.
yeah.
What, did you stop? Was there a reason that you stopped?
You just wore me out. So much talking. Oh my god.
And we've been going at it for 53 minutes.
Ooh!
Yeah, so-
It's because there's sense
I left-
being spoken here.
I left a little Easter egg in there for Root too
An
about
Easter
his
egg?
brothers. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But
I don't know. I don't think he has any. I think he may be an only child, from what I know about him. I think he may be
Bless.
an only child. But
He's a
I
good
mean,
egg.
I will say this: that Root and Alex and Lloyd are three of the best men I've ever known, and I trust them with anything that I have. In fact, two of the three of them have a key to my house.
mm-hmm.
That's
awesome.
Root can get
Do we
in.
get one after this?
No,
Oh.
no.
Dang.
Root can get in anyway because he's crafty that way.
So am I.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I have a monkey fist.
Can we talk about a monkey fist?
It's a visual.
Okay. Monkey fist?
All right, now before
Another
we
show?
go into the monkey fist, it's worth a Google. Just give it
It
because I
is.
googled it and it's
Yeah, we
concerning.
don't have to go any further.
Yeah.
So going back to what you all talk about when you are together, you talk about relationships, yes. What
Yes.
else do you talk about?
What do you?
Well, I mean, just we talk about the day. We talk about work. We talk about
Family.
yeah.
That
you know.
seems really
It is.
boring.
It is.
We talk about Game of Thrones, which we can't, we are going to have probably
I'm
a weaning off time of that because,
I'm completely fine with giving 10 minutes to Game of Thrones.
Okay,
we
so-
can say before we start.
okay,
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
If you've watched, if you've not turned on Game of Thrones,
yes.
go
Fast
on
forward.
and just fast forward 30 minutes on the podcast. 'Cause
30
I don't see this some bitch ending anytime soon.
Here we go, boys
So-
and
Game of
girls.
Thrones. This
So-
will be edition 1, 2, 3.
And I think,
So-
and we've already talked about some of this at the office, and I think we're all close to being in agreement.
Yeah, that's
And I think I can speak for the group in saying that last season sucked.
yeah.
Maybe the last two seasons could have been much more than they were.
Very hurried. It was not up to George R.R. Martin's
Right.
level of artistic
Development. It
genius.
was-
Yeah,
And I was
it just
talking to
wasn't.
our chief general counsel at our old agency today, and he is a huge Game of Thrones fan.
Really?
He actually has a map
A
hung up.
Westeros map?
He has a
Get
map
out.
hung up at his home.
What? Get out! I
So
love
it is.
Sword.
It is so. Number one, I love to surround myself with intelligent people. Thank you, ladies, for being here.
Oh,
I truly do
Think
because
nothing of it.
I cannot talk to morons.
Okay.
I can't. I need
It
to
is
be the
very
only
difficult.
moron in the room.
Okay.
And
Well, you got your wish. Just teasing.
can I have
Nothing
that
but
bourbon
love.
back?
No.
Can I have the free bourbon back?
Nope.
She's fixing
I'm
to
just-
call a name. I'm just saying.
I'm just playing.
she's a lovely lady.
Bless.
She is
I'm a
blessed.
feisty. I'm a feisty little angel.
But I think
sorry.
I think all the other theories have been
Oh,
thrown out,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it's been inundated on the. I think the last episode, they did as well as they could with the last season that they had.
Yes,
They
I
tied
wasn't
things up
mad at
together.
it.
No.
I wasn't mad at it.
It was very Hollywood,
It
which,
Yes.
was.
which the first 6 seasons were not Hollywood.
No, it wasn't. I think the first 6 seasons were very literary and
Shocking.
yes.
What we did
Yes.
not get in the last
Yes.
2 seasons were shock
Oh
factor.
my gosh! Yes.
Because they would not kill one of the main characters for nothing.
right.
Yes.
And
That's
in
right.
the first season, you lost
Ned Stark.
you lost the guy that's face was on the damn icon
And then-
of Game of
Right.
Thrones.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And there were as Heather and I made a point of watching this last season together.
I never got an invite, not one time. They invited themselves to my house,
I did, and you
but at
turned
no
us down.
point did I ever get an invite.
However, you turned us down. I mean, that's on you, man.
No, I dropped it. I mean, I'm like, yeah, I ain't getting to your house. You ain't coming to mine.
Well,
Hmm.
had we known.
Mm-hmm.
So, nevertheless,
It hurts.
sorry about that.
I apologize.
Love him.
I'm not sure that you are.
Well,
They're
I
in
mean,
my house now.
I know.
We are.
Down in the basement.
In the bunker.
In the bunker.
In the bunker. Lord,
It does kind of seem like a bunker.
it
bit of
does
a
kind
bunker.
of seem like a bunker.
I think it will stand a grade 5 hurricane.
Have you seen the movie?
Think?
But you
Can
know
we
what-
come to your house? if
But you know,
there's
we
a
don't have
hurricane?
a Kentucky hurricane. Ever.
Tornadoes?
I don't know about that.
You gonna have a tornado party?
I'll have a party for anything.
It doesn't take much.
I know I've seen you do it.
It's got that big grill.
I know, right? Oh, he does have that great big grill.
So,
Holy cow.
all right, let's pick out one thing
Okay.
as our group,
Okay.
go around the table,
Okay.
that you had an issue with the last
Oh.
episode.
With the last episode? Okay.
Okay.
Who wants to
Okay.
go first?
Why don't you go first?
That put me on the spot a little bit.
Yep.
You know, what I had an issue with, I think, is really easy and simple. All right, the last episode was a minute or an hour 30, right? And 20 minutes was watching a damn midget walk throughout the damn city. I'm sorry, that was a lot of time to watch Tyrion
Reflect.
reflect as he walks through the rubble of King's Landing, and then he stops and he talks to some people, and then he goes for another damn walk, right?
Okay.
All right, and I understand the importance
Yes,
of
they
him
did
seeing
spend time on
Cersei and Jamie dead, and I really was touched by his emotional outburst. But that could have been done in 3 minutes and not 20.
Well,
That
and-
was a wasted amount of time when there was a finite thing. You know, they had a lot of shit to get to in that last episode.
And how did he climb up on that pile of rocks and find Jamie's hand up that? He
Well,
he
he's got
There was a
uncovered
pile of
them.
rocks, and then there was
They were-
nothing, and
and-
then there was another pile of rocks.
Well, he's got little pterodactyl arms or little
they
Tyrannosaurus
were-
Rex arms.
but they
can
weren't-
climb. Those midgets can climb.
But they weren't buried.
They're climbable.
They weren't really buried under
They're
all
used to
those
climbing
rocks.
shit.
I'm talking about Cersei and Jamie, though.
All they had to do was step 5 foot to the left, and they could have avoided that avalanche.
Well, but
Did
they
you
were
see
too-
all that?
They were too busy doing.
Because they
brother
nothing
and
else
sister
matters.
shit.
They were holding on to each
They
other.
sure were.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
So that was my big issue is you
Yeah.
had an hour and 26 minutes, and you spent 20 of it watching damn imp walk through King's Landing, and that is time wasted. There was no time to waste in this last season, and they lost a shit ton of it. So that's my big issue with
Okay, all right. What about you, Heather?
I think it was a little. I'm like you. I don't hate it. I think it was a little Once Upon a Time-y.
It was very Hollywood, I thought.
It was very.
Tied
Yeah,
loose
it was.
ends.
They tied up loose ends, but they did it. They did it so hurriedly that it was like the episode before that, the next to the last episode, was
Which I hated.
very dark.
But I hated it.
It was,
That was
awful.
awful.
It was very dark, and then the last episode was almost like fairy tale land,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where everybody kind of has their happy ending, which is
Oh,
not
wait
a
minute.
bad
Hey,
thing.
now. I'm sorry that y'all don't get that. Okay, go ahead.
What?
Let's move forward.
I
Heather got it.
I
Jenny's
did.
so lost.
had to think about it for a second.
I was really concentrating.
She said everybody got their happy ending. Oh, God.
I got nothing.
We're going to do that off air.
Okay.
Heather, thank you for catching that. 3
You're welcome.
marriages.
About 30 seconds later,
At least you
Yeah,
got
mine's
it.
going to be an hour or two later after
We're
I
going to
explain
email
it.
her tomorrow
I'll tell
morning.
you. I'll tell you in the
Pictures.
car. I'll tell you in the car.
Oh, yeah, tell me in the car.
Yeah. So yours was,
I don't dislike it. I think that it was I think it was beautiful the
Just
way
heard.
that Arya was sailing west of
oh, I
Westeros.
think it was a little campy.
It was, I liked, my favorite part was John going with the wildlings.
Now, do you think that was, in my mind, that was a swing and a miss? Because there's no reason to have the King's Watch now, or the
Right.
Night's Watch.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
they just
There's
let,
no
they were,
reason
it was
for it.
like they were waiting there for
It's
him
like
and then they
dumbass
just.
Greyjoy goes, all right, or Grey Worm. Grey Worm goes, all right. There's no damn Night's Watch now. He just goes
What's
up and
the
hangs
point?
out with a redhead. What would have made that scene great is when he showed up with Tormund. If Tormund
My
goes, did you
husband.
bring the big woman?
I love
That
it.
would have been
Yeah, that would've been
fantastic.
awesome.
Or if he'd said, "Did you bring Heather?"
Heather has. I think we can see why that Heather has a bad picker. Because she's picking Tormund of that whole show.
She loves her some Tormund.
She is picking the guy that can't drink
She
without carrying the rent with him for the rest of the day.
Tormund.
I
She-
do. I can't help it.
Girl.
You
loves
just
her
walk
some
like a
Tormund.
grape ape. Just guy can't even walk right. Just ravage you.
Just so big.
No, we have always said that we want us just a great big old man to just wrap his arms around us and just.
I want to feel small.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Big
Like
old
I
dude.
want
So
to
one of my
feel.
things about watching any show is I always Google how tall they are.
Oh, cool.
And
Poor old John's pretty short, isn't he?
he's like 5'7".
Yeah, bless.
Now, and they make fun of him in the show, and I thought that was very cool that they made. I thought he'd be taller.
No,
You know,
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Guess how
Cute.
tall Tormund is?
How tall?
Just take a guess.
6 foot.
6'2".
He's 6'2". He's the same height as I am. Yeah, exact same height.
See,
Yeah, but I mean, he looks like he towers over everybody
Yeah,
in
he
the
does.
show.
Because
Plus,
they're
he
so
also
short.
has the big head of red hair.
Now Brienne is tall. She's
No, she's like 6'3".
Yeah.
She's taller
Oh,
than
she's taller
20.
than him. Oh, wow.
Now, the Hound is 6'9".
I
No,
love
I'm
that.
sorry, the Hound is 6'6". The Mountain is 6'9".
for real.
Yes.
Oh,
The
I like
Mountain,
that
if you
Hound.
want to look up some interesting stuff, is look up on who plays the Mountain.
The
Oh,
is-
there's 3 different
there's-
dudes that play that.
But the guy that played him last is the world's strongest man.
Hmm.
At 6'9". He's a massive
I wonder
guy.
if he's
Yeah, he
single.
is. Brothers?
The Hound in the
Like us.
mountain.
Huh?
The Hound in the mountain.
Yeah, the Hound in the Mountain. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'll take it.
Give-
Janet, what
give
was your
love a
least
chance.
favorite part of the show?
I think my least favorite, there's that bourbon.
Mm.
Hello.
You know, it's something about that microphone. Whoever sits at that microphone stutters.
Really?
You and Root, I'll be talking for 10 minutes and I'll be looking at Root going, I'm gonna throw it to you, I'm gonna throw it to you, and I'll throw it to him. He's like, it's like he's something off hee-haw. Eat, eat.
Poor Ruth. So I think the thing
There's a
that
hee-haw reference. I like that.
Yeah, I like the hee
That
haw.
was the first. That was the first
We-
hee-haw reference.
Janet and I sing.
Ha,
Janet and I
Gloom,
sang hee haw.
despair, and
And
agony
agony
on
on
me.
me.
Whoa!
Deep.
no depression.
Yes, we
Okay,
did it.
anyway.
Yes.
If it
So,
weren't for bad luck,
I'd
I'd
have no
no
luck at all. Despair and agony on me.
Oh, I see. I like it. You
Oh,
give him
yes.
some bourbons and
I
they start
know.
singing.
Oh, we
Yeah,
will.
We begged him to bring the karaoke machine down here, but
I don't think we have microphones.
No
okay,
dice.
so
It's just an acapella
okay.
karaoke
Well, we
machine.
can do all that too.
All right. So
So okay, so I think for me, the part that was probably the most troubling that I kind of didn't buy was that so it's after so that
those aren't
they
sentences.
no listen I'm just trying to articulate it.
Wait,
So-
she's literally third on the list. She's had all this time and she's
Mm-hmm.
eat. That's what happens on the show.
I guess so.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently.
Root.
If you
Right.
listen, you know.
Root
Here
Junior.
he goes with that again.
We're junior.
What
I
the
like
heck?
that. Heather Bell Jr.
Root Junior. RJ. RJR.
R to the J.
R to the J to the D.
Oh,
And still
my
spend
God.
10 minutes, no thoughts. So,
So when they showed that Tyrion was awaking on the floor, right? And it was after the last shot where Jon had killed Daenerys and Drogon took Daenerys' body away. So it was the next shot after that.
which is a hard shot because that was very theatrical.
I
Yes.
liked that.
Yeah.
Part, by the way.
I love the Drogon scene personally.
Me too.
He took his mama away and he's like, "I've got you, girl," and he seemed to know.
This is my mama.
Yes, when he burnt that throne to the ground, that was my favorite shot. I
Mm-hmm.
loved it. So, but nevertheless, and I know it was so Hollywood, but I still loved it. So
I didn't hate it,
I didn't hate
but
it.
I don't know that I initially thought it was a key point of the
There was a lot of
show.
symbolism in it. I
But
think.
Yeah, I agree.
Dragonfire made the throne, and
Yeah.
Dragonfire destroyed
I
it.
don't know.
Do you
But
agree?
you know what? Most dragons would have burned the shit out of the guy that killed his mama.
Well, he didn't.
I know.
And there's a reason.
He's a
It's because the
Targaryen.
throne is what actually
Killed
his
her.
mama.
That's right.
Oh, that's adorable. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, nevertheless, it just seems like,
Well,
you know, when they went and got Tyrion and brought him before the council, and he said, I've had time to think about this and all this, and they send Jon to the Night's Watch. Okay, so as they're walking with Jon to the boat, he passes Grey Worm, and they make eye contact, and there you go. So then, it's peace out for Grey Worm. He's headed to what?
North.
Noth? Whatever it
cares?
is. What the hell? Whatever.
I
That's
hated him
Missandei.
the last two seasons. I
They
hated
put
Grey
a
Worm.
lot, yes.
They changed him a lot. I really liked him at first.
Well, he
Yeah.
got fat in the last season too.
Hey,
Fat?
No, he
Easy.
did. If you look at him from season
did.
7 to the
Gained a
last
little
one,
weight?
he got portly. In 2 years that we
That's
waited
what
on
we
that
call it
damn
now.
last
So,
episode.
so here's my.
ask
here's
Root if his brother likes portly women.
I don't think he has a. I don't think.
My cousin?
Root,
Cousin?
please watch your tree.
Family?
Watch your family
I
tree.
know, right?
You have a cousin
So-
twice removed.
that likes portly women.
So Grey Worm goes off into the wild blue yonder, much like Arya does, right? So, Bran is the king. Why can't he say, all right, hey man, Grey Worm's headed off. You don't have to go beyond the wall, man. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, why does he have to send him? Why does he have to honor that if Grey Worm's not even going to be there to police that or whatever? I mean, like, who cares? Who cares? And like you said,
Well, I think
why
that-
is there even a night watch?
I think the thing that got glossed over was that John likes it up there.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily a
That's-
punishment to send him up
He
there. That's
wanted
where
to be
he felt
there.
comfortable.
Yeah, he wanted to be there.
He went up there to be
I
with.
think Bran knew that. Do you
He
think?
went up there to be with Ghost. He went up there to be with Tormund. Now, what would have made it better for me is if Tormund had hugged him and welcomed him, which he didn't do.
No.
But
But we did.
But he
get-
waited
the
there.
Good boy Ghost did get his pat, and that made.
And
it seemed
Tormund-
to be a little melodramatic.
I
to
don't
me.
care.
Don't be
I
so
don't
hard
care.
on Turman. He waited there for him.
He sure did, and I love that Ghost better than anything. And he had that poor ear chewed off by those stupid whites or whatever the heck they were, and he deserves a pat from his dad. I'm sorry.
All right, so now that we've talked about the worst parts of the show, tell us your favorite part of the show. The favorite thing that you like the most about
Through
it.
the whole thing.
No, the last episode.
Oh. I was like,
Well, I've already kind of said mine with the. I love the whole scene with Drogon, and he nuzzled his mama to try to wake her up, just like Simba did with his daddy. I mean, we've all seen the memes.
It's so
And I
sweet.
loved it. He nudged her. He's like, "Mama, wake up!" And then he reared back and he was screaming and he was just so tore up. And then he was like, "Damn you, Iron Throne! And I'm gonna burn you to the ground."
That's
I'm
exactly
sorry,
what
Burns
he
you to
did.
the ground.
To play
I love
devil's
it.
advocate on this,
Oh God, I can't even like what I like.
man. Just a contrary opinion.
I just
And I'm
don't
not
like
saying
what I
I
like.
necessarily feel this way, but
Okay.
that's giving a dragon a whole lot of forethought.
Dragons are genius, though.
Who says?
It says I heard him talking
Where?
in one of the shows
Where?
that dragons were
I
very
think there's-
intelligent creatures. I'm not sure what.
I think there's a connection. There's some kind of telepathic connection,
I thought
but I
they
might
were-
be wrong. But that's something we have to. Let me.
Well, now, see,
Maybe
I'm
I'm
just
getting
gonna spend some
confused.
time on
but
Google.
my bias here is I don't like science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like dragons. I don't like
Oh, I
trolls.
do.
I don't like hobbits. I don't like any of that shit. So
Have
I'll
you
watch.
watched Lord of the Rings?
No, I'll watch. No, because they have little big-footed
It's
midgets.
so. Oh, watch.
And,
You should watch
and
it.
with small hands, they probably smell like cabbage. They probably do.
I can see that, but
Yeah.
you should watch it.
No, I try to watch it, and then it's silly. They look like cartoon characters, and I can't respect them. But I watched Game of Thrones in spite.
Do you watch
of that
Marvel
bias.
or DC?
Yeah, I watch Marvel.
Those
They don't
are
have hobbits. There's no hobbits
Where?
on Marvel.
Okay.
No. And I'm trying to find somebody to go watch the last Marvel movie with me this week. Because my son told me that I have to watch it by Saturday or he's going to spoil it for me.
Okay.
Oh, you better do that.
So I
Okay,
got to go watch it.
listen. So I have Googled this and it's on the internet, so it's true. Okay. So
Of course it is.
apparently, Tyrion Lannister has said, and I quote from GameOfThronesFandom.com. Okay.
Oh, it seems legitimate.
Okay. Yeah.
Bunch
So
of geeks sitting in the basement just like us.
well, I mean, we've got
I
to.
love geeks in
I do
basements.
too. Let's just
You
be
are a
nerds.
Root fan.
Huh?
Let's
Heather.
just be nerds.
Yes.
Okay, so it says that Tyrion Lannister says dragons are intelligent, more intelligent than men, according to some maesters. They have affection for their friends and fury for
Yes,
their enemies.
I remember when he said that.
Massive flying reptiles that can breathe
Heather's
fire.
over going, yes, Jesus.
Oh, listen,
Amen.
they are rumored to have strong connection to magic, which seems to be proven true when the magic begins to return to the world after the birth of the first three. No, okay.
That
Yes.
seems more than what we wanted.
It's
We are
still
the
part of
geeks
it.
in the basement.
I want to read the books actually because
You know, I thought about
I
that
wanna
too, and
listen
I'm
to
not a
it.
big
I wanna read that.
reader, and I did air quotes right there. I'm not a big reader, but so going back to the question, your favorite part was the Drogon burning up the Iron Throne, saving
up.
John, and
Yes.
taking Daenerys away.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
Heather, what was your favorite part?
I really liked that part
You
too.
can't have that part.
I liked that.
Like what she said. Now she has a foul look.
I took your answer.
You did.
Good answer. Good answer.
I mean, I thought Sansa looked really pretty
Regal.
as Queen of the North.
All right, I'm gonna have to tell you that the guys and I, not on air, but we've talked about the ones that watch Game of Thrones. Root does not watch Game of Thrones.
Why?
Because he's just, if anything is popular, he is anti-popular.
Oh,
Whatever is everybody watching, he's like, I have no use for that. That's how he lives.
bless.
But Lloyd watches Game of Thrones. And we often went, who's the hot one and who's not.
Okay.
So that's what guys do. Honestly,
yeah.
We do that a lot.
Tormund.
Yeah, we do that a lot. And for us, I think the overall thought was the redhead that fell in love with John as a wildling.
Who he married in real life,
Right, right. So she's very, very hot.
Rose Leslie.
Yeah, right. And also,
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Robb
Yeah, she
Stark's fiance.
The nurse.
Yes. I think, and everybody, all the guys thought that
Yeah,
she
she
was
was.
very,
Oh,
very attractive.
beautiful. Yes,
Yeah.
she was.
And then also Tyrion's whore
Oh, yeah.
that
She's
ended up sleeping with
beautiful,
his dad.
Shay.
Yeah, Shay.
Questionable judgment, but still hot. Which
So the brunettes, basically. Well,
And
no.
the redhead.
Yeah.
Brunettes and the redhead.
yeah, none of us really chose Daenerys, and that was one that was kind of set up to be the hot one. And we really struggled with Sansa because Sansa really had no depth of emotion the whole show. You never saw her laugh from her belly. You never saw her cry.
You saw a change in maturity in her.
Saw her evolve.
She became a woman, and she went through
Early. She had to
trauma.
go through-
Yeah, she was
She had
forced.
to evolve into that early.
But she
because of the trauma.
always was drawn to the Theons, the Tyrions, the ones that were less than.
I like Tyrion.
Oh, I love
Me
Tyrion.
too.
He was my favorite in the whole
And
show.
Theon
He
too.
drank
I probably
wine
would have
and
chose him
No,
too.
no, not Theon. Theon is a pussy.
Unfortunately,
And
so-
honestly, he is horrible. I cannot stand Theon.
But at the end,
Theon
he-
Greyjoy is just horrible.
What?
He's horrible.
Bless.
Because he has betrayed everyone in his life that ever mattered to him. The whole damn show. All he did was betray everybody.
But he did try to make up for it in the end.
Oh, isn't that
He
cute?
saved his. Now listen.
He sacrificed his sister.
He did, but she showed him grace in the end.
I'm sorry.
I think he is Grace's character actually.
I can cuss somebody out at Kroger, I'm never forgiven. But he sacrificed his damn sister on a boat.
Tormund, you just take him as he is.
What, no,
Sure
Heather
can.
is
He
still
is.
all up on
Girl, you
Tormund.
love you some Tormund, don't
He
you?
is, yes.
He is what
There's
he
a
is, and
glow
he doesn't
in
care what anybody thinks.
there's a glow in Heather's eye
I know
when
she's
she
kind of
speaks
her
to
eyes are
Tormund.
kind of sparkling a little.
She's
bit.
crossed her legs and
What?
curled
Yeah.
her toes. I'm like,
Got that blanket on.
So Heather, remind us again what your favorite part was.
When John went with Tormund.
Anything that happened with
He's like,
Tormund.
bruh.
Anything
Well,
with
you know,
Tormund.
it's like he's walking up and he's walking up and he sees him there, and they don't have to hug each other and
But
be
could
like,
it not
"What's
have
up,
been better
man?
than that?
What's up?" They just
Yeah,
had a
but now
connection.
listen,
He was
hold up.
like, "I've been waiting on you. And
Yes.
where you're going with us." And that showed like this brotherhood. This was like a connection that
When
was
I see my brothers, I
unspoken.
hug them.
Okay, but hold
I'm
up.
a hugger. No,
I am
first
too,
thing-
though.
First
I
thing
am.
you know
He
about
did?
me, I'm a hugger.
He
Me
did
too.
hug him when he John and Tormund did hug when John left Winterfell.
Yes, they did.
But Ghost did not get a pat or anything.
No, no.
So
And
then they
then-
switched it
The
around.
world had a problem.
Ghost got a pat, and
And
Tormund got eye contact.
And they
I
rode
think
off
that's
together
give and take.
into
yeah,
the-
they rode
yeah.
off together into the winter sunset.
All right. Well, I think it's fair. I mean, John is a favorite character
He is.
of everyone, and I mean,
And
I like John.
I don't
but
think
then-
that's really why it's my favorite.
But then
though.
I didn't like John
Me too.
because John was a pathetic follower. He at no point ever embraced being a leader. All right, and if you're going to show up to the damn dance,
It's-
toe the line and lead.
It's kind of like
Either
I've
you're
just hit so many people with this sword. I just want to go off to the north and rest,
and-
man.
but you know what? He was like that in
I've
the
been
north.
fighting all my
He was
life.
like that
I've
in
been
the
a
north.
bastard fighting all my life.
He was like that in Winterfell. He was like that at King's Landing. He was like that in the Night's Watch.
But he was honest and he said over and over again, I don't want it, dog.
I
Well,
don't want
maybe not
this.
dog, but I mean, he said, I don't want
Well,
it.
then stop.
That's all. He's a follower and he followed. He did what he,
I have a problem with
I'm a
people
follower.
that keep doing things to put them in a leadership role and don't own it. And that's what he did.
Well, I can see that kind of, but
And he struggled with every damn decision that he ever made. And I
trying
just,
to do the right thing, man. Don't we all struggle just a little
and then
bit
he
sometimes?
killed the love of his life and his queen. So is that the right thing?
He didn't kill her.
He
Egret?
killed Daenerys.
He didn't kill Egret.
No, but he
She
loved.
got shot by an arrow.
No,
at
no, he
the-
said that he loved Daenerys
Yeah, he did.
and his queen.
he did. But
So
he
that's
did it.
twofold, right?
Yeah,
He bent the knee
I got what you're saying.
yeah,
and the love of his life.
yeah.
Now, to his credit, she tried to tempt him with the pooty poo. Like 3 times.
She sure did.
And
She
he,
sure did. She tried to put it on him.
And
Now
he,
he-
said, "No, Aunt
He said,
Daenerys,
"Girl,
no, Aunt
no."
Danny."
he was
He
all,
said,
he
"You
was
my
all
queen,
about,
girl."
he was all about Frenching his aunt, right? But when it came to the pooty poo, he backed off of it.
No, Aunt Danny.
He did. No, girl.
I've seen some things on Pornhub that was all about Aunt Danny. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Now, listen,
no.
we have someone here that's had traumatic experiences with porn. Let's just put that. Let's just lay that.
Syphilis.
Let's just,
Gonorrhea. She actually,
we need
after,
to just
after,
let that go.
after that whole thing, she was out there Googling. Let me see pictures of gonorrhea.
I'm fixing to show these boys.
I'm gonna shock
did.
some
This
bitches
ain't
right
gonna,
now.
this ain't gonna happen again in my house.
Not my house. Put your dick in and it explodes. That was an Eddie
Yes,
Murphy reference right
that's
there.
what I tried to tell him.
Remember Delirious?
Yeah.
He goes, you pray for herpes. After a while, you're just gonna put your dick in and it's gonna explode. I just got herpes? Sweet.
See?
Did you ever see
That's what I tried
Delirious
to
by
warn
Eddie
him
Murphy?
from.
I don't think so. I don't
Who
know.
are you?
I don't. Listen.
What was your favorite movie growing up?
No,
Yeah.
we'll do that
Oh,
in a
we're,
minute.
okay, okay.
All right. So my favorite part, Lord Jesus, it's going to be a 3-hour podcast.
Well,
And I like
mean,
it.
break it up into 3
I like it.
editions.
I like it. No, I like it.
Okay.
My favorite part was twofold.
Okay.
Okay.
First was when they were doing the council
Yeah.
that was figuring out the king.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that-
All right.
Yep.
I like how they brought everybody together,
I did. Too.
including the dude from
Robin,
Robin from
Aaron.
Aaron,
what was his?
The
Where was he
Erie.
from?
Erie. He
Erie.
was the Erie. Yeah.
So
Robin
they
of the
brought him-
Veil.
Yeah.
And,
the
and
Veil. yeah.
Samuel was there. He
yeah.
was the
I love that
maester.
Samuel.
Me too.
But what I loved was Tully standing up and professing his importance, and Sansa just went, "Have a seat."
Uncle, have a seat.
And then he knocks his sword on the
On the
post, and he
It
is
was
just-
so awkward,
he's
just like
just
me.
an idiot. And he's been an idiot the whole show.
He's trying though. God love him.
And
He's
I
trying.
love that. But what I did like about that scene
Mm-hmm.
was Tyrion had been cast down to the dungeons
Mm-hmm.
or the office, whatever was left.
And then
after
they brought him
Daenerys.
up and asked him his opinion.
And all of a sudden, he crowns the king. That seemed to be a bit of a stretch.
Right. Like
4
why did
months.
why did Grey Worm go with that?
Well,
He's just like, yeah, what?
the assumption is it was a 4-month gap
Right.
Mm-hmm.
because his beer was more full or whatever.
Snow was
So
gone.
he comes up and he's like, "Let me tell you about who's going to be the king."
Because I've had a lot of time to
And
think
then
about this.
Bran is Don the king,
Mm-hmm.
and all the memes that came out I thought was awesome. Like Bran is the one guy at the office that's part of your team that does nothing but gets all the credit.
Yes.
I
and-
think we've all been there.
And I also think that Bran, that the theory's out there, and I believe this one, that Bran may be the most sadistic person on this damn show because
I
he knew
love
all
it.
this shit was happening to get him in that seat. Because he could see the past, he could see the future, and he only let in nuggets.
And
then-
he did say, like at the
why do you
end.
think I've been?
Yes.
Why do you think I've been
Yeah,
waiting
that's
so long?
true. That's true.
So I think he's a sadistic son of a bitch, and he got his ass in the seat that he wanted.
I love him. He's my second. Tormund, then Bran.
What? So you go from the wildebeest guy that can't even walk right.
Wildebeest. What?
Do not talk about my man that way.
So, but my other favorite part was when they did the small council at the end.
That was funny.
I like how
That
they
was
incorporated humor in the
Yes.
last episode overall. But the fact that Tyrion is straightening up all the chairs, he's trying to do the right thing.
Right. He's a little insecure.
And here comes
still.
Bran, or here comes
Braun.
Braun.
Yes.
And-
Who
and-
is one of my favorites.
love him.
and
Me too.
Brienne,
Yeah.
and who was the
So it was
Davos.
Davos.
Davos, yeah.
Davos.
But you know what? He really had an under-heralded part.
Yes.
Oh, I loved
Me
him.
too.
And he really had a lot of
There's
impact.
so
on the show.
much common sense in him, and then
And
of
his little
course-
one-liners here and there.
Yes.
But I
Whenever
love,
he introduced John to Danny for the first time, and he was like, "Yeah, he's king of the North." I
Yeah.
mean, there's nothing else.
he was just making shit up.
Jon Snow.
He was just making
He's
shit
king
up.
of the North.
He's king of the door.
So I found it really, again, I thought it was much better than the previous episode.
Yeah, the previous episode was. I felt let down.
Cheated.
Yeah, like
All right, the
what
fact that
heck?
it took longer to kill the mountain than it did to kill Cersei made me feel like, all right, we spent more time on Cersei, yet it takes a rock slide to kill her, and she's a babbling bitch at the end of the show. And you have the Mountain and the Hound with the cinematography where you have the dragons flying over.
It was busy.
Yeah.
Kind of busy.
They
Yeah.
needed to be in a catacomb. They needed to be in
Yes.
in an alleyway somewhere. You know, that's where they needed to be
Mm-hmm.
because they were two brothers
It
fighting
needed
to
to
the
be
death.
raw, don't you think?
It was too grandiose.
I agree. They need to be a little bit more dirty.
And then you have Cersei
grungy.
dying in a cavern somewhere.
You know, and I sort of felt in that moment when she was talking to Jamie, when he was trying to find a way out, she said something to him, and I don't remember what it was. But a thought crossed my mind. You are manipulating him even in the end.
So my thoughts on Jamie was this, is he had done a 180 most of the second half of the show.
And then he just all of a sudden.
And all of a sudden, he turned his back on the woman that loved him, even though she was a giant. And he rode back to King's Landing and became a bitch again.
yeah.
And
I mean-
on his sister.
Right.
That's
And he
not-
had this
that can't
big,
be
beautiful
understated.
woman who loved him.
No, she
then-
wasn't beautiful.
But
I-
in real life, she is. She's,
I think
No,
she's-
she's not beautiful.
Yeah,
I've
she is.
Googled.
I think
I
she's
think
beautiful.
I think she is too. I think she's lovely.
Well, it's cute that y'all think that, but you're not into girls, are you?
No.
Janet? Heather?
No.
No.
I am. She ain't pretty.
Now listen, let's calm down. And
Because
let's just,
there are
she's probably a beautiful soul.
Well, her soul may be pretty,
I think
but
she's
her ass ain't
Beautiful.
worth looking
I
at.
think she's lovely.
No.
Now, that is. Some other people might think that, though.
Who?
Other men.
Name one.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't
you
talk
don't
to
do.
many men.
Yeah.
I don't.
Other on Bumble.
Oh my Lanta.
What's her husband look like?
No, he is
He's short.
He's actually a fashion designer,
He is.
and he is like 20 years her senior.
Yeah.
Really?
and
That's
he-
what I
now,
need.
He isn't too
No, he's
too
not.
smooth.
No.
I don't think.
He has money.
But she sees him. She sees something beautiful in his soul.
That's
Or-
right.
or-
She doesn't
What
care
about
looks.
Or an
Is it
endowment.
Davos?
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 What
He's
about
not
him?
hard on the eyes, I'm telling you.
Now I
All right,
kinda
you
think
all
he's
like
good
a silver
looking.
fox.
I sure do, girl.
All right, now Heather
Fine.
is what? How old are you, Heather?
44.
All right, and Davos is probably 67. Is that what you're looking for?
Hey, if you got it,
I
you got
see
it, you
two
got it.
ladies
If you got
that
it, you got
need
it.
to be on OurTime.com.
And I like that Braun too.
Me too.
All right, now
Jorah Mormont,
or-
girl.
no, Jorah. I wanted to kill him the first season
Why? Because he was
because
too
he is
honorable.
the Charlton Heston. He overacts every damn scene he's ever been.
I
in.
agree with that.
He just overacts it.
I agree with that a little bit,
And
yeah.
yet he's fine.
No, he's not fine.
Yes,
he's
he
dead.
is fine. Look at my Lanta. Look
So
at
how old is Davos?
I don't know.
Google girl.
I'm just saying he's a handsome older man.
I think he's a
He
silver
has a little bit
fox.
of Sean Connery in it.
That's, yeah.
A little bit.
That's the stuff right there.
Davos actor. Let's see what. Oh my gosh. Oh, I think he is good looking. Look at that right there.
All right, how
that
old
beard.
is he? Quit Googling his looks. And
Now I can Google what I want, Because I'm a grown ass woman.
It's not good for podcasting. Remember where we are, what we're doing. All right? I'm just saying, we're not just sitting in the
Okay,
damn
let me
basement.
see what his name is. Hold on. Let's see. Liam Cunningham.
All right,
All right.
that's not what we asked.
Liam. Okay, I've got to get to where. Let's see.
I'd
Really?
say
He's
I would guess
Scottish.
he's about 65.
67.
60.
60.
Okay, so he's born in 1961.
Oh, so he's
How
not.
about you look at his age? Is it Wikipedia?
Can you not do math?
No.
Okay.
I've had
Um,
copious amounts of bourbon.
Okay, so he's 57.
No, he is not
Oh,
57.
7 years older.
There is
than
no
me.
way he is
he's
7
the
years older than me.
perfect
He
man for
is
you.
19. I know.
No,
isn't
look,
he
no,
cute?
really,
And he's got that Scottish accent.
think about
I'm
it.
all over it.
Think about it.
Look at him. Isn't he cute?
No, he's bald and gray.
That's so. That doesn't necessarily mean
You may be bald and gray one day.
You really?
You better
Speaking
calm
of hair,
down.
speaking of hair, we have a sponsor, ladies. Did you know that?
Yes, you
We-
mentioned that before.
We have a sponsor.
Thank
it,
you.
It is Plaza Barbershop. What do you think about the hair?
I think it looks
Oh my gosh,
fabulous.
Yes, it's never looked better.
Well, you've only known me a few years, but
It's shiny.
you don't remember the
It's
mullet.
spiky.
You don't remember the mullet.
You had
No, I
one
don't
too.
remember it.
Me
Oh,
too.
I had a power mullet.
Totally had a
What?
mullet.
Did he? Did
Mike did not
this?
do it. no.
Okay, so
Good
So,
job, Mike.
so Mike at Plaza Barbershop, right next to the Save Lot in Frankfort, Kentucky.
Oh.
His hours are 9 to 5 during the week and 8 to 12:30 on Saturday. He is amazing.
he's the man.
Well, he is. Your hair really. I told you that earlier. Your hair really does look.
Yeah, it kinda
very
looks like, remember the
nice.
Calvin comic strip? It's kind of what it reminds me of a little bit.
So I look
I thought
like
she was
a
going to say
child.
Calvin Klein.
No, that's what I was hoping.
Klein?
That's what I was hoping. And then I went to a child in a comic.
Like Calvin and Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, yeah.
Kinda-
I'm pissing on something at this point. But Mike, don't worry about it because we're going to still send people to your barber shop.
Yeah.
So honestly, I had the hardest thing for a guy. I don't know about a girl. Heather could probably speak to this because she's recently moved to this area.
Yes.
It is really scary to find a new person to do your hair.
Yes. Sometimes
Right.
it's scary. To
If you go to the old one.
yes.
Right? So I went to Mike right before my 50th birthday. And I'm going away to Gatlinburg. My boys are going with me. It's going to be fun and all that. And I signed up with Mike, and I'm like, dude, give me a skin it on the sides, make it look good on the front. And
I think that's called a high and tie.
no, it's not a high and tight.
You sure?
Girl, I know what high and tight is. Don't talk to me about that.
I know what it is.
And-
My
and-
6-year-old nephew has
And then Mike got a hold of my beard. Now, let me tell you what's tough is when you trust somebody with a beard, that's a whole different thing.
And your beard is spectacular.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, it's its own
Here's the
like
thing about a
webpage.
haircut versus a
Some
beard.
webpage.
When
No.
you do a haircut and it's messed up in the back, nobody sees it. But everybody sees your beard all the time.
First
True.
thing. Yeah.
And he was a little timid at first. I'm going to say, Mike, you were a little timid. But then after he got used to it, he took care of it really well. So Mike
Good.
Stingley at Plaza Barbershop, Save-A-Lot parking lot.
How
You're the
often
man.
do you have to go to get this maintained?
Probably the beard every month to month and a half, the haircut to probably every 3 weeks. So,
That's
Mike,
not
I'm going to
bad.
see you on Thursday. That would be tomorrow. I'm going to
Yeah.
come up and see you tomorrow, but
It's awesome.
he does a great job.
He does
And
do
there
a
are
good
two
job.
ladies, or there's two ladies in the barbershop with him, does a fine job.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going to go to anybody, I'm going to go to Mike.
The best
Mm-hmm.
haircuts I've ever had have been done by a barber,
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
without a doubt.
So are the ladies in his shop a barbers too?
Yes.
Oh,
But I don't know anything about him because I only went to Mike Stanley at Plaza Barbershop.
Yeah.
Next to the Save-A-Lot parking lot.
have you got a little bromance with him?
No,
Okay.
no.
Does he do women's hair?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure Mike would
Is he-
welcome a lady.
Is he cute?
He is adorable. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's married. Mike is married.
Oh, good.
But
That's
ladies,
awesome.
you know, just back the fuck off from Mike at the Plaza Barbershop next to Save-A-Lot parking lot.
I know he's gonna have all these ladies like
Well,
wanting to
you know,
Get their haircut.
FaceTime.
Mike, I'm not trying to get you in trouble, brother. I ain't trying to get you in trouble, but these ladies are thirsty. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Woo-wee.
So, yeah, again, go to Mike. So,
Cheers, baby.
right. So, Game of Thrones over? Are we done with Game of Thrones?
I'm over it.
I think we are, but I think honestly, You know, theoretically, are we really
I am.
done with?
I am.
I see
really
that.
am. No, I mean, honestly, when I get to the point that where it has lasted so long, from the last season to this one, and everybody has had to come up with theories and all that shit, that wears me out. That tires me out.
And there are still theories.
I didn't
that
even
Daenerys is
read
not
any
even
of
dead.
that. I didn't even read any of that.
I did.
I didn't read
just
any
keep reading.
theories.
You know, I
nothing.
did, and I think the one that probably stood out to me more is that Bran is really sadistic, and he's not a good dude.
I don't believe
I
that.
don't care.
But what about Bran makes you think he's good? What has he done? One thing.
He
Well,
hasn't killed anyone.
Because
He
what he
knew-
has done is
He tracked
has,
the Night King so that they would know when he was gonna, be arriving.
All right, so he plotted Jon versus Daenerys. He planted the seed and watched it grow. Right?
Because it needed to be done.
Yeah. He knew everything was going to happen. He knew all of the carnage in King's Landing. So if you know that children and mothers and families are going to die,
Well, true.
that's
still
pretty
don't
damn
think-
heinous.
I thought that he didn't know the future. I thought he said that he knew the past.
No, he said, I mainly live in the past. Mainly.
Maybe he had an inkling.
Because there is many more events that happened in the past that will happen in the future. Right? And I think he just made certain that Tyrion went on his wild goose chase, with talking to Cersei at the wall, at King's Landing, and the really hot cross-dressed, no, the cross-dressed, no,
Missandei?
that's not a drop.
Miss
Ruth.
Girl that lost her-
Yeah,
Missandei.
Missandei. And she got her head cut off.
Bless.
He saw that. He set that shit up. So if he did that, he is a sadistic guy. Why else would he come from
But-
Winterfell as a cripple?
Haven't you seen Back to the Future? Don't you know that if you mess with things, then it gets worse?
You're quoting Back to the Future.
Seriously.
Really?
If you mess with the
You
future,
said Cersei or seriously?
seriously, Cersei.
It sounds really similar. I ain't gonna
know,
lie to
right?
you.
Yeah, it does. It's my Western Kentucky seriously.
That's right.
Yeah, but when you mess with the future, then it's gonna screw up the past, and things could get way worse.
Have you watched Family Guy? They
No.
always mess with-
No, I
don't
find
watch-
it.
I don't watch Family Guy.
I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Okay, do it.
Family Guy tucks me in every night.
As it
Aw,
does my
that's precious.
19-year-old son.
Yes.
I'm not.
Because
I'm
he's
just
smart.
saying he loves the
He's
Family
smart.
Guy.
Because
That's it.
I have it programmed on my DVR to record all the time.
Okay.
So right now I have about 81 episodes.
Mm.
So what I do is I'll lay down in bed, I'll put on Family Guy, and that is mindless humor. Sophomoric, call it what you will,
Okay.
right? And I've already seen them. So I don't need to lay there and think about, I need to wait and see what happens the next segment.
It's just mindless entertainment.
And it takes
Like-
me out of the day.
Gordon Ramsay cooking shows or something.
No, I want to see who wins that damn challenge.
Master Chef Jr.
You know, I want to see who wins the box challenge. What do they call that? The mystery box challenge. I need to see who wins that.
Me too.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
And I cannot stand to see children cry.
Have you seen that meme of that little dude that's flipping that hamburger and he's just crying and crying?
No, I can't watch it.
It's awful.
I can't watch it.
Poor little
I can't
angel.
see children cry. All right.
Aw.
Okay, let's.
May I share?
Yes.
Please.
So my 3 kids will be watching TV with me. We love cooking shows. And 2 things. So I have a 10-year-old son, set of 8-year-old twin daughters. And we watch a lot of cooking shows. So I was cooking one weekend. I love to cook for them. And they're really adventurous eaters. They'll
That's a
try
good
anything,
thing.
That's
you know.
awesome.
And so I cooked something, and my son went into critique mode. And I listened to him for about 30 seconds. And I'm like, son, if you have anything bad to say about my food, you're going to go hungry really quick. This is not a cooking show. You're not a judge. You eat that or you go hungry is what I'm talking about. And the girls went, Nathan, you need to eat up. So, but I don't know what the second point of that was.
I dumped a whole lasagna
Neither
in the
do I.
trash one time
Why?
because
Lasagna is delicious.
I know, and
Yes.
it was delicious.
She makes a great lasagna.
Thank you.
Why
It
have I
was
had
good.
that?
Well, because I don't cook anymore.
But because of your critters.
I did it for 20.
It's your critters.
Yeah, we gotta get rid of those critters.
Oh, let's just air that all over the world. There you go, Sweden.
She thinks we're being listened to in Sweden.
Didn't you say we were?
Scotland.
Oh, my Lanta, I love me a kilt better than anything.
You know what? For Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
I wore me a kilt.
Did you?
All right, so
In the real, like,
Yes.
kiltish way? Oh, my Lanta,
Yeah, so-
what?
so
You
I-
better
I
calm
put-
down.
I went for Halloween. I went as a giant leprechaun,
Oh my God.
and I had a sleeveless, laced-up shirt
Yeah?
and a top hat
Okay.
and a red beard.
Oh,
Okay. Did you
And-
have the suspender thingies?
No, I had the work boots and the kilt.
Hot.
And I went to a very popular Halloween party,
Okay.
and all the ladies asked if I were authentic, and I'm like, yes, Lord. Yes, Kenny Loggins.
Is this the very popular Halloween party that I missed last year?
Yes,
Damn.
that's on you at this point.
Ah, it's on me. It's on me.
So go back to where we originally started.
Yeah. I didn't
Evidently,
know what
ladies
that
talk
was.
about dating
Mm-hmm.
and TV shows.
Yep.
What
we
else?
do. We do.
Family.
Yeah.
We don't.
We. You know.
Do you really
honest-
talk about family?
We do.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
And I think when you were still in your former marriage.
When I was being
You-
traumatized.
Yes, but I think there were things that you discovered that he did not want to hear. That were things that really you determined that it was best to just tell all that stuff to your girlfriend, you know, your buddy, your BFF, instead,
Yeah.
because he didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And I think he told her that.
Yeah.
So,
So that's still relationships, right?
mhm.
That's not really family.
Yeah, we still talk about relationships.
Yeah, we do.
I mean,
Anything else?
Work.
I mean, yeah,
Normal.
that's,
I think it's
we're pretty
normal
boring,
stuff.
really.
You
No,
know,
I think the dating things
Yes.
exciting, right?
Yeah,
I think the TV stuff is interesting.
it's
Right.
interesting.
No, I think it's interesting
Okay.
because you may be watching a show that's different than Heather,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Our perspective might be different if
Right.
we're watching
Yeah.
the same
Because
thing.
I think we all enjoy, the three of us enjoy going to work and talking about what we saw on the last episode of whatever
Yep.
we're watching. So I
Yep.
think that's fun.
And now we have
Yeah.
to find something else.
Now I will tell you that guys don't talk as much about TV shows.
Okay.
Now, Chief
Why?
General Counsel and I spent like a half hour today. We were laying it out about Game of Thrones.
I really need to go talk to Chief General
I
Counsel.
will tell you what,
Maybe we should all have lunch.
one of the most awesome people I have ever known is him.
Wow.
I mean, he's
And he's a West Kentucky dude.
He
Just
is?
need to lay that out
Hey.
there.
and he is
Ballard County.
Yeah. He's Paducah.
No,
No,
he's Ballard.
Pike.
No, he's from Ballard County.
What's
Ballard
the city?
County Bombers.
What's the city?
The center.
No, it's not.
It could be. I mean, that's the primary city.
But he's
With,
He's
It
from
is.
Ballard County.
with,
I'm gonna bet you
with
$5.
Barlow.
Anyway, I ain't talking about all
Just-
that shit.
just-
But he is 20 years my junior.
Uh-huh.
Awesome.
He's a good dude.
He likes bourbon. He likes Game of Thrones. I'm in.
You're,
All right.
you're good.
So
Yeah.
speaking of bourbon, how
Yeah.
you ladies doing?
We're like, so,
Sipping.
I don't know if you noticed this, but we are both extremely lightweighted. Curvy,
Herbie,
in real life, but lightweights with the bourbon.
we'll hang out more.
I mean, holy crap.
I'm just really.
I mean, I feel like I need like some coffee, maybe a raw egg, hangover cure before I even go to bed.
Raw
I'm not
egg.
sure.
So,
And yet here I go. Another sip.
so Janet has moved to Bourbon on the Rocks.
Yes.
And Heather is still in her blanket and drinking the original. the
No,
Marlboro-
no.
You filled that.
Did I?
you-
Did I? Did
Yeah,
I?
She's
see
got
my-
the square
see
ice
my
cube
big-
because you
Oh,
said
did?
square ice cube.
What do you think? Now, if you had to drink one of the two, the ginger
The first
ale lime,
one.
The first one, yeah.
I have
I mean-
work. I have work to do.
Well, I mean, I just, I just want to drink pleasant, soft, nice things. I don't want to be like, oh my God.
All right. So what I could do with
Okay, go ahead.
for you all
Yes.
Yes.
is do like a bourbon tasting,
Ah, love
and,
that.
and I will tell you that the bourbon.
VIP tour?
No, the bourbon that we're drinking tonight is not top shelf,
Okay.
but I like it.
Okay.
It's really good for me.
Okay.
But I could set you up with one to find out where your palate is.
Some Pappy? You don't have any
No,
Pappy?
no,
Oh,
no.
I don't even know what that is. Don't even know
Pappy
what
Van
Oh,
Winkle.
God love you. You've been to Kentucky your whole life.
Yes.
All right, let me ask you ladies about this.
Yeah.
Because this is very important for guys.
Okay.
If you're planning on dating men,
Mm-hmm.
have you watched Justified?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Who's your favorite character?
oh.
Well,
Boyd Crowder.
See, Heather, you and I see eye to eye. Because Raylan Gibbons is a bitch.
Well, I like Raylan, but Boyd Crowder is my man. I would marry him tomorrow.
Janet,
Really?
Yes.
there is nobody more loyal than Boyd Crowder.
He's got the prettiest teeth.
That's
I
not-
They're
want to kiss
big.
him right on his mouth.
They're big. They're
Just
big.
kiss him on the mouth.
I do.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
All right, and
I'm just
Janet?
saying.
I like Raylan.
Yeah, you
He
do.
is hotter than a $2 pistol. Do you hear me?
You know what I love about Boyd? I've seen it 6 times. I've seen that.
He's very
I've
smart.
seen
He's
that-
got a very brilliant mind.
the whole show 6 times, and I will watch it again.
Don't do any spoilers of the last 2 seasons because I haven't seen them yet.
What I love about Boyd is he owns who he is at the moment. What
Yes,
Raylan
he
never
Oh, that
does,
dude.
what Raylan never does, is own who he is, and he lets his ex-wife he lets his ex-wife make him his bitch,
Yes, he does.
and that is just
And look-
Love
bullshit.
us how
I know you don't think Boyd Crowder is cute,
He
but
I will
He's
tell
got
you what,
them
if I
crazy
were,
eyes. He's
if
got
I were,
crazy
if
eyes.
I were
I
a
don't know.
woman, which I am not,
you look.
if I were a woman, I would bang the shit out of Boyd Crowder.
You would love Boyd Crowder.
Yes,
Really?
yes.
Let me see him.
Have you seen him when he found Jesus?
No,
Evidently, you ain't watched enough episodes.
I haven't watched enough episodes.
Because I want to
obviously.
tell you what, that guy, if he were a televangelist,
He's
he would be one of the most popular ever.
he's a
All right, Heather, look at me.
yes. What?
Have you watched Sons of Anarchy?
Yes, but I stopped whenever I moved. I was watching it. I was getting caught up.
Where were you?
I think I'm on season. How many seasons are there?
6 or 7.
I think I'm on season 4.
All right, so you're going to get to know Boyd Crowder in a whole new way in about season 5,
Really,
and you will still love him.
really.
And if you love him in season 5, you're going to know more things about yourself than you ever knew before.
Oh boy.
Like what?
May I spoil it for you?
No, don't.
All right.
Don't spoil it.
All
I
right.
think I've already got the gist.
No, you don't. You do not.
Oh,
There is
okay.
no way you can know what's going to happen. None.
I'm looking at a picture of that Raylan, and he's hotter than a $2 pistol.
Let me
I mean,
see.
don't just go ahead and talk amongst
Let me
yourselves.
see.
I got this.
He.
Well, I mean,
Girl,
there is nothing. I mean, he
Merciful heavens.
is stereotypical cowboy.
what's
He's
wrong
got-
with that?
No, it's fine.
Nothing.